Well, it's actually been more than a week this time, so I bet you thought you were lucky enough to be rid of me, but I tell you, that line of thinking is only going to get you hurt when I show up again in 8 days and read you another horrible fanfiction. This time we're reading about King of the Hill. I keep meaning to read something about Sonic the Hedgehog again because the movie trailer came out, but the longer I wait, the less sense that makes, so maybe I'll wait for the updated version and then read something then. But in the meanwhile, we're going to keep reading a variety of different things. I'm still thinking about topics for next week's reading, but for right now, we're going to be reading this King of the Hill fanfiction called Propane Z. Let's get started. Once upon a time in Arlene, Texas, the heart of Republican values, Hank Hill was grilling up some propane steaks when he heard a bang come from Bobby's room. "Wah!" Hank yelled as he flipped a steak. "Better get the propane accessories for this job." Hank grabbed the spatula and machete and headed for the room. In the room, Hank found Bobby Hill having sex with a bag of charcoal. "Wah! Bobby, why are you making love to charcoal and not propane?" "No, Dad," Bobby screams, then immediately gets his six-pack out and turns super propane too. Bobby tries to fight his father. "You will never beat propane, Bobby!" Hank unleashes a wah blast at Bobby. "But wah!" Hank screams, unleashing his full force. This is a Dragon Ball parody. Outstanding. Bobby tries to counter the blast with special charcoal cannon. The beams collide, but the force of the struggle is too much for Bobby in his current form. Bobby thinks about his life up to this point, about all the friends he made and the people he can count on, no matter what. In a sudden realization, Booby knows the one person who has taught him and give him the strength to defeat his father. "Guy Fieri, lend me your power," Bobby screams to the sky. Then out of the time vortex that he was trapped in, Guy Fieri drives his flying golden flaming Lamborghini. "Hey Bobby, I heard you wanted to go to Flavor Town," Guy says while driving into Bobby, fusing the both of them and turning Bobby into Super Fieri 3. With the new form, Bobby knows that he only has a minute before reverting to his usual state. Bobby pushes all his energy into one last blast. "Cheeseburgers overload!" Bobby screams as he overpowers his father's beam. "No!" Hank screams, flying into space while saying, "Looks like Team Rocket is blasting off again." A small twinkle is heard after, so that's just wholesale ripped off of something else. Bobby collapses on the ground and defuses with Guy Fieri. "Thanks, Master. I don't know what I would have done without you." "Hey, no problem, brother. You need to train up because your daddy-o will be back and more killer than ever." "I will keep training for you, Master Fieri. I'll see you next time on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives." Guitar squeal. Bobby did plan on training right after he makes sloppy, wet love with John Redcorn. I picked this one because it was short, but I don't think I was expecting it to be so goddamn condensed. I think maybe I was hoping because it was short there'd be a maximum amount of shit they could stuff in here, but instead this is what we're getting. Chapter 2. Last time on Propane Z, Bobby Hill shot his father into space with a blast after temporarily fusing with Guy Fieri. As the sun slowly set on Arlene, Texas, home of the Hills, Bobby Hill laid in bed thinking of George Bush, Ronald Reagan, and other sexy celebrities. "Honey, what are you thinking about?" said "Honey, what are you thinking about?" said John Redcorn, laying next to Bobby in his charcoal outfit. "Just my dad, baby. Is he still out there? After our last fight, I'm afraid he'll return more powerful and my body isn't ready to fuse with Guy Fieri again." "I'm sure you'll think of something, my love," John whispered and kissed Bobby. Bobby kissed back in a blaze of passion and flipped John onto his back and pulled down his Indian underwear and took his member in his mouth. Bobby sucked his red corn until, "Oh, Bobby, I think I'm gonna char-cum." John blew his load in Bobby's mouth. Bobby immediately swallowed John's nut. "Now give me that ass," Bobby said as he flipped John over and began to plow the charcoal out of his ass. Peggy burst into the room with triple KKK-sized tits. Bobby, did you sense that power level? No, I was too busy getting my funk on. Bobby then was hit with a massive power level from the unholy land of Democrats, Los Angeles. Mom, that must be Dad. He's returned even stronger than before. I must go confront him. Alright, that's Dad. Bobby pulled his massive 12-inch schlong out from Redcorn and flew out to LA while humming Rolling Around at the speed of sound. You know, I mentioned Sonic earlier, and here he fucking comes back to haunt me. Of course. Cut to downtown LA as Hank flies through the air, causing chaos below. Wahaha! Hank screamed as he blew up a charcoal store owned by more evil, vile Democrats. Hank sensed Bobby's presence behind him. I've trained a lot more since our last battle, Bobby, and I know Guy Fieri and his frosted tips can't save you. I'm not afraid of you, Dad, Bobby yells as charging into Hank at full speed, knocking him through a block of buildings. Hank teleports behind Bobby and stabs him in the shoulder with a propane accessory. Ah! Bobby screams out in pain. Ha ha ha! You're never gonna be strong enough to save charcoal and red corn, Hank spoke into Bobby's ear. I've still got a few tricks up my sleeve, Dad. Bobby goes super propane too and punches Hank into the ground. He then fires a redneck camo cannon blast into Hank. Boom! Hank knocks away the blast as he reveals his Super Propane 3 forum. Waha! Cannon. Hank fires at Bobby above him. Bobby counters with a cheeseburger wave, and the beams collide. It struggles for a few minutes before Bobby is about to lose. Bobby screams, "Please God, if you're there, give me the power to defeat my dad. Give me madness." A voice comes from the sky. From Sarasota, Florida, Macho Man Randy Savage. Macho Man emerges from the heavens.
You're not going anywhere, Hank. I know where you got your power. It's from the punkster Hulk Hogan.
How did you know? Hank asked Macho Man.
I know the hot dogging lair when I see one.
Bobby then snaps into a Slim Jim and goes Super Propane 3. Take this, Dad! Bobby pushes his beam back into Hank and incinerates him for good. Is Hank truly dead? What will Bobby do with his new power? Will the Macho Man ever marry Elizabeth? Find out next time on Propane Z. You know, that might actually have been a bit too short, because it's like half the length of a normal video. I mean, hell, you guys got off easy this week. Maybe I'll have to come up with something else and drop something on Thursday just to fuck with you guys, because you deserve it at this point. Well, that certainly was a thing. I didn't notice a whole lot with the grammar while reading it, other than a handful of spelling mistakes. They forgot a lot of quotes. A lot of points where there was no quotation marks indicating when there was speech and when it was just text. And it's still kind of obvious from the context, so I'll grant the author that. So grammar-wise, I give 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 seems a fair rating for the grammar on this. Quality. Content rating itself. Well, it certainly was a thing. I think it would be fair to call it rather derivative, to say the least. What with all the references to, we had the wholesale ripoff of Pokemon in there. We've had what else? Macho Man Randy Savage showed up. There was a Slim Jim promotional campaign in there, if you caught that. It was bad. It was really bad. It was too short to flesh out a story, but long enough to be completely awful. And for that, I give this fanfiction a rating of 5 out of 10. Thank you for watching. If you would like to watch any more of my content, there is a playlist on screen that links to all of my other uploaded readings, and please consider subscribing to the channel. If I can reach 1,000 subscribers, a lofty goal as of right now, I can monetize this, and YouTube will take away that monetization immediately, but at least I can pretend for a few seconds that I had any chance of making money with this shitty idea. So yeah, please subscribe, share this video with your friends. I'm not going to say it helps me out because I'm really no better off if you do, but I would still appreciate it. But, bye.